This area is known for big wind. In fact, the location where my A-frame style camper was totaled due to the wind last year was only a few miles down the road. I knew wind was coming, but we didn't know how bad it would be. We never really do. So I tried to prepare as best as possible. However, nothing could prepare me for how I felt during the first portions of the storm. Feeling the camper sway and rock and hearing the violent wind grab my camper made me feel like I was reliving those daunting days just months before. I knew fear was my enemy, so I prayed. I prayed continuously, and by His grace, my fear turned to confidence in the Lord, and we made it through the storm. It is definitely windy. It's a little stressful. I'm working through some of the things that happened last year with my other camper and the wind, and I'm in a much different situation, in a much different environment, and ultimately I'm gonna be okay. It's just one of those things where you have to sometimes just work through it, and right now we are working through it. It is super windy. The worst has not even come yet, but I'm getting about 35 watts on this solar panel. I set my panel out here flat, connected to my power bank, which is out, well, you can kind of see it, but I've got my stuff all kind of like put there and wrapped up so it doesn't fly away. My daily read was in the book of Job, Job 37 through 41 specifically, and it reminded me of how powerful God really is. The scripture resonated with me, not only because it talks about the storm, but it also reminded me of how powerful God is. And sometimes I don't understand the why around me, but I don't need to because He knows. If you'd like to know the specifics of this verse, I encourage you to read that passage. We are definitely working through some stuff. I think even Pike is a little nervous every now and then when these big gusts come through, but it's kind of interesting to watch it because you can see the wind coming, so then you can kind of brace yourself. But we're trying to stay distracted, so that's what we're gonna do. I feel like I'm on a boat, not in a camper. But of course, I noticed that my 100-watt solar panel is completely covered in ice, so I'm going to try to go clean that off real quick. And then I forgot to grab my dinner out of the refrigerator in the car, and it is probably frozen solid in the refrigerator, even though it's off. So I want to have enough time to let it thaw, and I have no idea what I want, so I'm going to try to do this really quickly because it's pretty cold outside. I've officially given up cleaning this vestibule. I think the wind has finally stopped for a second. I mean, it's still very cold and breezy, but you can hear he's got his diesel heater running. Brian seems to be okay. He put out a video earlier today talking about this storm. Okay. Actually, it's a lot warmer in here, but yeah, that's almost frozen. I haven't turned. Those sound good. Does that sound good? I think those sound good. Let's grab that because I also have to make Pike's food. Yeah, see, we're not getting much with that. And let's grab a rag. I'm not even dealing with this right now. Oh, I am so glad it stopped with the wind. Even if it's just for a break, it was so miserable out there. The camper was rocking. I mean, there were some big gusts that came through that really just made me relive a little bit of the A-frame getting totaled. Oh, that's frozen. Let's see if I can't break some of this up. It's actually warmer right now than it has been, but it's still really cold. But when the wind is not ripping, it's actually really nice. I said I wasn't gonna mess with all of this, but here I am messing with it. So I've been using Brian's diesel heater. That's mine. It fell over, so I'm hoping it's not busted. I decided to move that to the ground and do that so that didn't fly away. And that seemed to work pretty well, but it's cold, so let's get back inside. And because I'm not able to harvest a lot of solar, I'm running the propane heater, which is working, and you can see it's so dry. We're not even getting any like condensation on the windows despite running the propane. I am ventilating it and a couple windows are open, but I'm definitely over propane heat. I just looked down and my solar panel fell, so let's, oh geez. With a few days of minimal sun exposure, I wanted to collect as much solar as I could today. Unfortunately, I am down to one solar panel extension cable that matches my power banks. I was alternating between which power bank stayed inside to charge and which one went outside. I left one power bank outside for about an hour and it froze. So I brought it back inside to thaw, but it took several hours before it was able to take a charge. Ultimately, that left me in quite the conundrum for the next few days to come. Frozen solid. If you're wondering why I didn't bring in my water jug before, that's simply because of space. I don't have a lot of room to navigate, so between the heater buddy, extra power banks inside, and all of my stuff, and also trying to create a path for Pike and I, we were pretty cramped. Inside so it can thaw. Typically with the sun during the day, my water will not freeze. It's when it's cloudy like this that I have these problems. So I decided to make it work and bring it inside to thaw. Oh my gosh. Woo! Having fun yet? Woo! And hopefully that will thaw. Okay. The only source of heat I might have tonight is my propane heater, because I'm just not getting enough solar to charge the diesel heater, but we'll see. This Jackery is frozen still. It's been sitting in the house for a while. And let's see if it'll charge now. Oh, good. It'll start charging. Okay, good. Just a few minutes ago, it was giving me the little thermostat light that pops up right here when you have a frozen battery. So at least now it's charging, but I'm only able to use one solar panel right now because the 200-watt solar panel that I had outside doesn't have a long enough cable to reach inside, and the extender that I have that works for my Goal Zero solar panel does not work on the 200-watt solar panel. So in order to utilize my 200-watt, my power bank needs to be like right next to it. So because it's so cold, I'm not able, it's freezing the battery. So after it being in the camper for a good couple hours, it's finally thawed and actually accepting a solar charge. So that's a plus. But let's check my water because I am thirsty. I've had it sitting next to my heater buddy. So it's finally starting to break up and thaw. So that is great news. My trash. Don't mind the dirtiness. Listen, I live in this camper. We live in this camper, so it's a little dirty. I drank some of his water, but he's not drinking much. On the floor for him. I'm glad this thawed, otherwise I'd be going to the creek and pulling out my purification system. That sound makes me have to pee. Ice cubes are just coming out. Okay. Ice cubes. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have ice cold water right now. I don't know. It tastes really good. Oh no. I spilt my drink. Okay. That one's almost frozen, but still. This one sounded good. Bubbling. Pike is the messiest eater, so he's got his own little towel thing. And I'd feed him on the floor, but it's preoccupied. Brian is so sweet. He went into town today and he brought Larry and I pizza. Oh my gosh. I do not deserve a friend like him. He's such good people. Thank you, Brian. Thankfully, I was able to get enough charge to comfortably sleep with the diesel heater on all night. However, despite it being pretty good with power draw, all my power banks were pretty much dead. I started charging the bigger Jackery and it was getting nice sun exposure. While it did its thing, I went to see my friends. Everyone was planning on packing up and heading out in the next day or two, so we all wanted to see each other for a little bit while the sun was out. I didn't film any of our hangout time, but it was really nice to get a small break in the weather so we could all catch up. Meadow is ready to see the Pike man. You want to see your girlfriend? Okay. You're just having so much fun. Except for Pike's a little old grumpy man sometimes, so I try to keep an eye on that. Oh, was my leg in your way, Meadow? Be gentle with each other. Okay, so I just did something really special for myself and I am so excited. I'm gonna go stay at a hot spring for 2 days. 2 days, we're gonna stay at a hot spring. Isn't that right, Pikey? Yes, it is. 2 days. Are you comfortable, baby? Oh, I love this dog so much. I am so excited about this, you guys. I have been wanting to soak in these hot springs since I worked out here last year, and I didn't even realize how close it was. So we're going to this hot spring. We're gonna stay in an RV site where I have electricity hookups, and we're gonna utilize my space heater tonight because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of over the diesel and the propane fumes right now. While I'm like well circulated and ventilated and all that kind of stuff, like if the diesel, I need to start wearing gloves when I do the diesel. I'm learning, it's all good. But I am so excited to check out these hot springs and just soak and have a space heater for heat for 2 nights. It's gonna be amazing. Yep, 0 and 1, and I'm at 37, but that won't last long. So we're gonna take that as a sign to go soak in some hot springs and hook up to electricity so I can plug my banks and get back on the road again. So I packed up, said my goodbyes, and I headed to a new place. The day was beautiful, the wind subsided, and I was ready to soak in the warm, soothing waters. I'm sure I'll see my friends again soon, but until then, it's the wide open road. I've been staying at a hot springs connected to 30 amp power. The area has been under constant cloud cover, and it's been hard to keep my devices charged. I was using my friend Brian's diesel heater, but it was time for us all to move on to other areas, so I had to return the heater. I decided to stay at the hot spring to recharge both my batteries and my body. Being connected to electricity gave me the opportunity to take a break from propane and diesel, and I plugged in my electric space heater. As such, Pike and I have been enjoying these typical winter frosty days in Colorado. Temperatures have been -7+ each night. Got a fresh layer of snow. It's already starting to melt though. I'm literally the only one RV camping. It was so nice having a little mini vacation, and those few days connected to shore power went by super quick. So next week, I'm back with my friends, and I cannot wait to share that with you. Thanks for watching.